Okay, last time I was reading the 613 commandments and I gave up on 202. Fishhead Salad asked a really good question last time of how many of these are applicable today, and I don't think that many are. I don't think hardly any are. There's a few that maybe you could argue for. Like in the first video, I was like, some of these actually you could argue that are based on some sort of fact, or there was actually a good reason to have them be codified into law. But the thing is, they attribute it to God saying it rather than just saying these are our laws, right? So I see that as a problem. I also see it as a problem that enshrined in these 613 commandments is laws regarding slavery. Why not just say that indentured servitude and slavery is wrong? But instead, it doesn't. And people go, oh, well, God didn't, had to do it for that time and blah. It's like, no, he didn't. That's crazy nonsense. God could have just told them to not do it. Period. He could have explained it to them in a way they'd understand. It's God. So it's not God that did these commands, it's men that attributed these commands to God. But it doesn't matter. So we're going to read them all because they all belong in schools and stuff or whatever. Sure, why not? As far as them being applicable today, a lot of them aren't, and some of them you can't do because they're like you could only do them if the temple existed. And yeah, the Bible also didn't apparently know that one day the temple wouldn't exist, so God screwed that up too. All right, so we didn't want to muzzle a beast last time. That's where I ended, and so now we're gonna go to 203. That a man should fulfill whatever he's uttered. So this is kind of like let your yes be yes, let your no be no. That appears in the New Testament. And yeah, I think that, that's somewhat decent, actually. I can't really complain too much about it, except for the fact that, sometimes you say stuff and you don't really mean it. So you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be there tomorrow. And then, like, well. Anyways, fucking hell, fuck, shit, this asshole of a commandment. God damn crappy pussy poopy buttholes. This shitting commandment says not to swear needlessly. So can I swear when I need to? Now, does it mean swearing as in cursing, or does it mean swearing as in vowing? Because those are two different things. So let's see. Checking the more of. Oh, okay. So don't swear falsely by the name of your God. So basically, like, this is like vowing to God. So don't do that, or at least don't do it unnecessarily. And this one is like same thing. Don't do it again. But like these are kind of like they're separated because I don't know. To decide cases of annulment of vows according to the rules set forth in the Torah. I mean, yeah, they had all these rules about getting divorced and stuff, and they all pretty much favor the man and not the woman. I know, big surprise. Uh, so if a house, so I'm reading the more bit of it. I guess I wish I could figure out how to put it on screen in an easier way, because you can only like show one thing at a time. Let's see. Let's see. No, that's it. That's how you're stuck with it. Okay. All right. If a house keep holder makes a vow to God or takes an oath imposing an obligation on themselves, they shall not break the pledge. They must carry out all that crosses lips. If a woman makes a vow or assumes the obligation while in their father's household by reason of their youth, and father learns of her vow, and offers no objection, all her vows shall stand, and every self-imposed obligation shall stand. So, yeah, it's just kind of like, if you say you're gonna do something, do it. If you make a promise to do something, do it. I mean, for the most part, that's okay, but I don't know that it should be a law. Don't break a vow. Well, you just said that. Don't. I mean, how repetitive this is. Not to swear by his name truly. So if you're gonna make a vow, you swear by God's name, which you're not supposed to say, but apparently you can do it if you really, really mean it, but only if you're truly doing it. I guess. I don't know. What's some more have to say about that? The I don't know. It doesn't really explain more. Not to delay in fulfilling vow. Oh wait, 20, 10, 20? What? Hold on. Befriend the stranger. Huh. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one. Oh, whatever. Don't delay in fulfilling vows or bringing vowed or free will offerings. All right, whatever. I mean, just again, be careful how you vow and promise and stuff. And if you're gonna make a promise, keep it. All right, here's stuff that doesn't apply to any non-Jew, pretty much. Let the land lie fallow in the sabbatical year. Cease from tilling the land in sabbatical year. Don't till the ground in the sabbatical year. Not work on the trees in sabbatical year. Don't reap the aftermath that grows in sabbatical year. Don't gather the fruits of the tree in the sabbatical year. Basically, if you didn't save up leading the sabbatical year is going to be a fucking hard time for you. You're going to starve to death. It's part 2, Mr. L. Damn right it's part 2. You missed the part where I said we shouldn't fucking swear so much. And by swearing, it didn't mean cursing, but I thought it was funnier to swear. To sound the ram's horns in the sabbatical year, to release the debts in the 7th year. So this is actually interesting. So, again, if I go and I get a loan from a Jewish person and wait 7 years, they have to let it go. All of it. They have to release the debts, but only if I'm Jewish. So, you know. But again, I could say I'm Jewish, you know. But I'm pretty sure they probably don't run their banks like this. Like, if a Jewish person owned a bank, and I'm sure somebody out there is Jewish and happens to own a bank, like, I mean, that's possible, right? Or they run the bank. Maybe they don't own it, but they run it, and they're allowed to run it however they want, maybe, because I guess that could happen. I don't know how banks work. Anyways, but, like, I don't think that they do this anymore. So I could be wrong, but if not, you know, that'd be one heck of a way to just, you know, get some credit from a Jew and then, like, wait 7 years and be like, oh, gotta release me. Anyways, don't demand the return of the loan after the sabbatical year is passed. But technically speaking, and I guess I'm gonna kind of go with, like, Gremlins here, every time is a time after midnight, right? You're not supposed to feed the gremlins at midnight, after midnight, because after midnight, if you do feed them, they turn into the gremlins, like the little cute little, like, they start kind of cute, but also kind of crazy, except for Gizmo for whatever reason. But all the other little Mogwai guys, like, if you feed them, then they become gremlins, and you don't want that. But, like, when can you feed them? Like, because every time is after midnight. So, like, when do you then feed them? Like, in the day, right? Because they're not there, but then, or at night, at some time during the night before it's midnight, but it's still after midnight. So every year after the sabbatical year is after the sabbatical year, so you're not allowed to demand. Okay. Don't refrain from making a loan to a poor man because of release of loans in the sabbatical year. So basically saying that, look, we know this is a bad idea to set this thing up, right? We understand that they could find this loophole and know that sabbatical year is about to come and like, get a loan from you right before that. But even though they're gonna probably abuse that loophole, don't matter. Just, you have to give them a loan anyways. So a poor man comes up to you, hey, look, I need a loan. And he's like, but tomorrow the sabbatical year starts. I don't care. You're not supposed to refrain from making a loan. And like, God damn it, I guess I got to give you all this money, whatever. So I don't know. Again, just saying, like, you would think that God would be smarter and set up a better system than that, but God's kind of dumb. So whatever. Assemble the people to hear the Torah at the close of the 7th year. So like every 7 years, I guess. Then you have the sabbatical years, the 8th year, or whatever. I don't know how it works. I don't care either. To count the years of the Jubilee by years and by cycle of 7 years. See, I was just saying that. Like, yeah, that's it. Keep the Jubilee year holy by resting and letting the land lie fallow. I mean, I thought that was kind of like a given. So, like, you get an entire year of doing nothing. Don't know why I'm subbed. Must have been years ago. What's all this about? Well, I'm reading all 613 commandments until I give up on doing so. And then I'll have a part 3. And I don't know why you subbed, but thanks for being here. Hopefully you enjoy this. If you don't enjoy this particular video, I have lots of playlists and stuff. Check out the like, I have songs you can. Yeah, there's 613 commandments. Yeah, I know, it's surprising, isn't it? I mean, we're used to the 10 commandments, but there's actually 613 commandments in the Bible, like, listed in the, but the Torah, that's where, this is kind of like emphasized. The Christians kind of like ignore after the first 10. They're like, yeah, so they subtract 603 from their total commands, I guess. But these are all laws that the Jewish people had to follow back in the day. So, yeah, most Christians break these rules. Yeah. I would say pretty much everybody breaks these rules. A lot of these are supposed to apply only to the Jewish people. Some of them, even the what they do, because the temple doesn't exist anymore, so some of these laws can't even be followed anymore. And a lot of these laws nowadays, they couldn't follow because we don't allow slavery to happen. So yeah, that's kind of weird. So anyways, I don't know. Hopefully your move. Maybe I did a Yu-Gi-Oh video at some point, because that sounds like your move, Yu-Gi-Oh. Anyways, you activated my trap called Rule 218 is obviously made because of a certain demographic. Was it? I don't know, but basically, as far as I understand it, like, these rules about the returning of loans and debts and all this stuff, because they had a lot of that previously that you've missed in part 1. But as I understand it, like, in the 7th year, you release the debts, and then after the sabbatical year has passed, which is like a year of resting. I kind of almost want to become a Jew now, because you get an entire year that you have to rest. And after you get married, you get an entire year where you get to have sex with your wife. So, I mean, that sounds kind of good. I mean, those parts anyways. If I could just get that and leave the rest to the side, that'd be great. And because I'm greedy, I want the year of sex where they can't tell me to come into work because I'm having sex. And then I get the year of rest after that. That'd be pretty good. And they have to pay me for both years. It's based on my religion. That would be fine. And then I'd quit the job. Get 2 years of pay and have sex, do nothing, get divorced, marry a new woman, just to repeat the cycle. Yay! Anyways, so yeah, you're supposed to, like, get rid of all the loans after sabbatical, and it's like, then there's this loophole, and they're like, yeah, even though there's this loophole, you still have to give out loans. It's really weird. What if you're not a person that gives out loans? Still supposed to do it? I don't know. How long is sabbatical year? It's a year. Yeah, it is an actual year. Uh, yeah. So they go like their calendar is like they count 7 years and then it's sabbatical. I think. It could be I could be wrong about that. It might be 6 years and the seventh is the sabbatical year. I don't know for sure, but I don't care because it's not part of the law. So, anyways, enough time reading chat. Where was I? Don't do anything in the Jubilee year. Why not just say that? Instead of having all these laws, like, just say don't do shit during Jubilee. That, I mean, okay. Okay. And then, don't gather the fruit, don't, grant redemption in the land of the Jubilee year, whatever that means. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't care, whatever. To appoint judges and, did I, like, miss any of this, by the way? Because I don't want anybody to complain later on. Oh, Deacon Ferdinand, you didn't read this number. And I'm like, yeah, I read all of it. I'm pretty sure I read it all. Yeah, I read all that. Okay. It's just making sure. Let me know in the chat if I missed one. Yeah, the sabbatical wipes the slate clean, pretty much, as far as I can tell. And also, and they say that twice because they say after every 7 years, you forgive all the debts. I guess that's sabbatical year then. Anyways, for grant redemption land and Jubilee year, I don't know if there's a difference between the Jubilee year and the sabbatical year. Whatever, I don't care anyways. To appoint judges and officers in every community of Israel. So, like, because we are in control of Israel, so we get to put judges and officers everywhere we want. Now, today, Israel's kind of contested territory because the Muslims kind of think that that's their holy spot too, and the Jewish people are like, no, we were here first, and they you got the thing on the special spot where the temple was, and the Muslims currently have that spot. And if that spot's ever like blown up, there's gonna be a big old war. Anyways, not to appoint as judge a person who is not well versed in the law of the Torah, even if they're an expert in other branches of knowledge. So if they don't know the Torah, screw them. And of course, because the Torah is really important. Why would you even though if they're like the smartest person in the world, if they don't know the Torah, fuck them. Now, I can foresee this being a problem. And again, I'm a jaded skeptic. But I think when considering who to hire as your judge, it might be that you just want somebody really experienced and well versed as a judge and have had many years as a lawyer and has been in and out of the court system, and maybe he's had even some time working as parole officer, been a cop, maybe they've been a prison guard and they've seen how that works, or a warden. Nah, screw all that. If they don't know the Torah, screw them. Anyways, to adjudicate cases of purchases and sale. I guess this is all like how judges work. To judge cases of liability of paid depository. Adjudicate cases of loss which a gratuitous borrower is liable. Adjudicate cases of inheritance. Judge cases of... These are all fucking laws of an uncovered pit. An uncovered pit. Hey, you didn't cover that pit? I'm going to put damages on you. Injuries caused by beasts. Damage caused by trespass of cattle. Damage caused by fire. By the way, why didn't God just tell them how to make barbed wire fences? It wasn't until like the Wild West days that they invented barbed wire fences. I don't know. God could have told them how to do that, then they would have had problems with... Anyways. Adjudicate cases caused by gratuitous... what? Depository. What the fuck are you talking about here? What are you talking about? When fire is started and spreads to thorns, so that stack, standing, or growing green is consumed, the one started the fire must make the restitution. When any party give money or goods for another's for safekeeping, and they are stolen from that other party's house, is caught, the thief shall pay double. Okay, so that's what it's talking about. So, like, that's pretty interesting. So, if you are in charge of somebody else's money for whatever reason, and then like a thief steals from your house, that thief has to pay for whatever they stole from that person, but they also have to pay you as well for whatever damages or stuff. But if the thief is not caught, then the owner of the house has to depose before God and deny laying hands on the other's property. So they basically have to say, "It wasn't me, God. They did it. The thief did it." And then it keeps going. My God. I mean, it's detailed. Anyways, I'm reading the more stuff again. I clicked on the little thing, and then I have to show you guys the screen to see what the hell I'm talking about, and it's a whole thing. Where the fuck is it? Here it is. So here's what I was reading from. I got to put that shit in the link too, I guess, because you might forget what I'm talking about. But that will be in the description eventually. Anyway, so if I go off and start reading from something else, that's what I'm reading for, and I'm just too lazy to switch the screen around. That's what's going on, So, okay, back to the list. All right, where were we? Anyways, to adjudicate other cases between a plaintiff and the defendant. Not to curse a judge. Fuck you, judge. Or it might mean curse as in like actual curses, like something bad will happen to you. Let's see. The Moore says, don't put a curse upon a chieftain among your people. So I guess it really literally means a curse, not swearing. It means like something, give them the evil eye. Something terrible will happen to you. Like when I was a young kid, I'd be like, when you get old, you will get old and grow a long beard, and that beard will get stuck under a wheel of a steamroller, and that steamroller will roll over you and squish you, and you'll die. That's a curse, basically. Not allowed to do that to a judge if you're a Jew. That one possesses evidence shall testify in court. Now that's actually interesting because nowadays, at least in America, you don't have to test. Even if you're called to testify, you can say, I think you can say I'm not going to say anything. If it can hurt you, you can do that. I don't know that they can compel you to testify. Like maybe they can. I'm not really sure what the laws are anymore, to be honest. So, anyways, don't testify falsely. That's pretty good as a law goes. I mean, but I'm not really sure how you'd enforce that. But yeah, well, we have those laws today. But a witness who has testified in a capital case shall not lay down the law in that particular case. Well, yeah, that'd be a conflict of interest, wouldn't it? I mean, if you're testifying, you shouldn't also be the judge. Now, see, I'm guessing back then, they didn't have a permanent judge, like they would pick a judge from among people, in small towns or whatever, and it wasn't always going to be that person. Maybe, I don't know. Transgressors shall not testify. Now that's interesting. So the person who's guilty can't testify? Or the person that's seen as guilty can't testify? Wow, that's messed up. We allow them to testify now. So, I mean, you don't have to testify, but you're allowed to. The court shall not accept the testimony of a close relative of the defendant in matters of capital punishment. Wow. That's, there could be all sorts of problems with that. So capital punishment, of course, being stoned to death, which is pretty much the result of you breaking most of these laws, is getting stoned to death. Maybe not so much these laws, but most of the laws. At any rate, not to hear one of the parties to a suit in the absence of the other party. Okay, all right, whatever. To examine the witness thoroughly. All right, whatever. To not to decide the case on the evidence of a single witness. Hey, that's actually a good idea. I mean, like hell, they actually were kind of smart. I got to give them credit where credit's due. Uh, yeah, your wife can't be made to testify. Yeah. Right. No, that is true. Your spouse can't be made to testify against you. Um, but yeah, as far as don't decide the case on a single witness, I think that's a decent rule. Again, I'm not sure about it being a law, but I think it's a decent rule at least. Like anyways, give the decision according to the majority when there's a difference of opinion among the members of the matters of law. So that's like the jury, I guess. It's just a different word for jury. Sanhedrin sounds like a thing you would take for a headache. Take a Sanhedrin. If symptoms persist, see your doctor. Not to decide in capital cases according to the view of the majority when those who are for accommodation exceed by only one those who are for acquittal. Do what now? Okay. In capital cases, so if you're voting on whether or not to kill them, got it. Then you don't decide in the case of the majority if it's only like it's like one vote more. So if it's like 6 to uh 5 or something, like then you wouldn't. But then what does that mean? Does it mean they just don't get killed? What is their sentencing? I don't know. Oh well. In capital cases, someone who argued for acquittal shall not later on argue for accommodation. Well, that makes sense because like you have the prosecution and the defense. Like you can't have the defense jump to the prosecution side and the prosecution side jump to the defense side. That wouldn't make sense. It'd be kind of funny to watch that happen, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense. To treat parties to the litigation with equal impartiality. Okay, that's nice. Don't render what the fuck word is this? My brain went off. What the fuck is this? Inquitous? What the fuck? Grossly unfair, morally wrong. Okay, it's not a word I'm used to. Inquitous decisions, immoral decisions. Got it. Don't favor great men in trying a case. Just say treat everyone equally. I think that would cover that. Don't take a bribe. Well, yeah. Has to be like 7:30. Yeah, something like that. Don't take a bribe. I like that. That's a rule. Don't be afraid of bad man when trying a case. Don't be afraid of bad man. Bad man. Blah. I'm not afraid of you. Not to be moved in trying a case by the poverty of one of the parties. So I gotta think that they didn't have like a single judge that was always the judge, because you wouldn't need all this then, right? But if you're gonna be a judge, then you have to follow these rules, right? But then if you're not gonna be a judge, then these laws don't apply to you. So it's just kind of like disjointed that they're there only for specific things, but then they're not there for other things that you would think that there would be laws about. I don't know, washing your hands should have been a law in my view. Like, I don't know, good hygiene. That should have been a law. Oh well. Not to pervert the judgment of strangers or orphans. What does that mean? Not to pervert the judgment of a sinner, a person poor in fulfillment of the commandments. Okay, so I guess you're not like, just because they're a stranger or a sinner or an orphan. You're just supposed to treat people equally. Again, it just could say that, but it's really going Pacific. And whenever it does that, and it's done this earlier, I always say, like, then the problem becomes if you don't then cover every contingency because you have said, do this, do this, do this. Now you're leaving open cases where, well, it's like, well, you didn't say I couldn't do this, so therefore I can't. Like, you didn't say, it said don't have incest with your daughter's daughter, but it didn't say I couldn't have incest with the daughter's daughter's daughter. You know, you could have just said don't have incest, and that would have covered it, but you had to get specific. So now I can find a loophole, and I am, because you know, I'm just messed up in the head, I guess. Anyways, not to render a decision on one personal opinion, but on the evidence of two witnesses who saw what actually occurred. Okay, now, this is actually kind of important of a tangent. And this is somewhat, although there are other places where we'll say two witnesses, but this is to some degree where the Jehovah's Witnesses got the idea that you have to have two witnesses. That's why they always come in two to your door. Two guys or two women come and, you know, do all that. There's other places in the Bible that also talk about two witnesses, so this isn't the only occurrence of it. But this is one of many. So this is why that happens. Now, in modern day court, you're going to want more than just two witnesses. And then you also need to know how in the world we know that they actually saw what occurred, right? And how do we know that those two people didn't talk to each other beforehand? And those are really difficult questions to answer, even in the modern day and age. So back then, when things were, you know, looser and you know, more chaotic, you know, they didn't have DNA, they didn't have fingerprints, you know, they only really had evidence of, they only had witnesses or whatever. Like, we heard screaming. Did you see anything? No. Well, now what are you going to do, right? So there's, you know, you can't, so what do you do then? And this is supposed to be God telling how to do all this stuff, but it doesn't cover all contingencies. So either God's doing a really bad job about it, or the people writing it down aren't thinking about all possible contingencies. They're leaving a lot of things up to the imagination of the person who's going to be the judge. And that could be a problem as well. So even if you just say, well, this is just the people doing these commands, fine. But they're not doing that great of a job. And maybe because they're trying to codify law into being from the Word of God, who can't be questioned and can't be changed, making all of this static. And so if your society changes even a little bit, that's going to be a problem, because this might not apply anymore. So you can't have your law codified into your religion as well. And this is why we see Muslims today, like, they're struggling with that. Many of them sadly want Sharia law, which is kind of part of their religion, but also not. It's not, I don't really fully understand, but it's not as codified into the Quran as the 613 commandments are. But the Sharia law stuff, that's like a separate book or whatever that's also important to them, or something like that. So when you mix your religion with your law, you get a lot of problems, is what I'm saying. Because then you can't question the law, because it's your religion and it's like sacred. And you're not allowed to question the sacred. You're not allowed to remove or add to the sacred. You're not allowed to change what it says. So it becomes static, which means your society has to become static, frozen in time. And you look at the current day, you look at the Muslims, and they're sort of modernized, but they're also not in many ways, because the women are still walking around covered up head to toe. You know, and there's other things that they do or eat or whatever that aren't modernized, because they're stuck in this time capsule, because their religion can't update with the times. And so as society, as the rest of the world keeps moving forward with technology and innovation and whatever the bleep else we come up with, and eventually AI will probably take over and run everything anyway, so I don't know what will happen then. But at any rate, they're going to be left further and further behind because they have decided to intertwine law and religion together. Anyways, that's a nice little tangent to go on. Not to execute one guilty of a capital offense before they stood their trial. Well, that's a pretty fair law. Accept the rulings of every Supreme Court in Israel. But Supreme Courts in other places, fuck them, I guess. I don't know. Don't rebel against the orders of the court. Okay. Make a parapet for your roof. So it's like a thing that protects your roof, I guess. Anyways. Not to leave something that might cause hurt. No booby traps. Save the pursued even at the cost of the life of the pursuer. Okay. So, like, somebody chasing somebody down, save the person that's being pursued. But what if the person being pursued is being pursued because they're a bad guy and you're stopping the person pursuing them by killing them, and then you just killed the good guy? Not to spare a pursuer, but he is to be slain before he reaches the pursued and slays the later or uncovered his nakedness. Don't do that. Don't, what? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what that means. I whatever. Just I'm moving on. Whatever. Not to sell a field in the land of Israel in perpetuity. That's interesting. Not to change the character of the open land about the cities of the Levites or their fields, not to sell it in perpetuity, but it may be redeemed at any time. Okay. Houses sold within a walled city may be redeemed within a year. Money back guarantee. That's kind of good. Don't remove landmarks. Okay. Don't swear falsely in denial of another's property rights. Don't deny falsely another property's rights. What? Okay, so like, don't. So both of these pretty much the same thing. Never to settle in the land of Egypt. Fucked Egypt. Don't settle there. Don't steal personal property. I mean, this is actually already, like, don't steal. It's already a thing, but just in case you missed it, we're going to have a second law that says not to steal. I know, you're like, wait, but didn't we have that way back in the top 10? Not to steal? Well, actually, this person's not putting them in 10 in the order. What number was I on? Oh shit, I screwed up. Oh shit. Wait, no, it was after the judges. Oh shit. Okay, here we go. Whew! Oh, that was almost bad, everybody. Anyways, he didn't, whoever wrote this didn't put them in order of how they appear. So my complaining about it might not be relevant. But I'm going to complain anyways, because that's what I'm here to do. Restore one which took by robbery, return lost property. Didn't you just say that? I hate when they repeat themselves. I've probably said that several times. Not to pretend not to have seen lost property. Okay, so wait. Not to pretend not to have seen lost property, to avoid the obligation to return it. Right. So I think you could have written that better. I wonder if the Bible is more clear on it. Oh, let's see. It says, if your fellow Israelite does not live near you, or you do not know who the owner is, you shall bring it home, and it shall remain with you until your peer claims it, then you shall give it back. Yeah, I like the way the Bible says it better than this guy said it. Screw whoever wrote this. Ugh. All right, criminal laws. Don't slay an innocent person. What if you didn't know they were innocent? Maybe, just an idea, we shouldn't slay anybody. I don't know. If you get naked after you stab them, you're immune from retribution. Yeah, probably. Not to kidnap any person of Israel, but they're not a person of Israel. You can kidnap away. Let's see. Then the Talmud. Oh, I love that word, Talmud. This verse refers to stealing a person distinguished from this verse regarding the taking of property, whatever. Not to rob by violence. Excuse me, sir. How you doing there? How you doing? Yeah, your move. Look, it's a pretty nice day, don't you think? Yeah. So I was wondering, could I have everything you got on you right now? Yeah, just go ahead and give me all your money, please. I'd really appreciate you doing that. Now, look, I'm not going to use violence against you. I'm just asking if you give me all your stuff. All right, thank you. I'm taking all your stuff now, but at least I wasn't violent. Not to defraud. Don't covet what belongs to another. Don't crave something that belongs to another. Isn't that like the same? I mean, whatever. Not to indulge in evil thoughts and sights. Well, where's the fun in that? Come on, man. Punishment and restitution. The court will pass sentence of death by decapitation with the sword. Wow. So, in case stoning to death, fails, decapitate with sword. Anyways, court will pass sentence of death by strangulation, or burning with fire, or by stoning. And then once you've done that, hang the dead body of one who's incurred the penalty. The dead body of the executed will not remain hanging on the tree overnight, though. Oh, that's just nice. To inter the executed on the day of the execution. To not accept ransom from a murderer. Exile one who's committed accidental homicide. Oopsie. Sorry, I killed him. Get out of here. Don't come back. If you come back, we'll kill you, I guess. To establish 6 cities of refuge for those who committed accidental homicide. So, I wonder if those 6 cities still exist. Also, how many people do you really think are going to accidentally kill people that you need to create 6 cities for it? And who's running this? Who's running the cities? How does this work? Is there that many people going around accidentally killing people that you have enough people to spare to run the cities and fill the cities? My word, what are you guys doing? What's going on? Oh, what's the Bible say? You shall set aside 3 cities in the land your God is giving you to possess. Well, it didn't say 6. Oh, wait. Then divide into 3 parts the territory of the country your God has allotted to you, so that any man who has killed someone may have a place to flee to. So 3 divided by, yeah, that is 3 and 3 is 6, I guess. So, but how does that work? Like, I don't. Okay, whatever. Anyways, don't accept ransom from an accidental homicide, so as to relieve them from exile. To decapitate the heifer in the manner prescribed in the what the fuck? The perpetrator which remains under. What the fuck? Decapitate the heifer. Okay. Wait. What? Why? Wait. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So. Okay. If in the land that your God is assigning you to possess, someone slain is found lying in the opening of the slayer not being known, then the elders and magistrates will go out and measure the distance from the corpse to nearby towns. Then the elders of the town nearest to the corpse will take a heifer which has never been worked and is never pulled in a yoke, and the elders of the town will bring that heifer down to an ever-flowing wadi, which is not tilled or sown. There in the wadi they shall break the heifer's neck. Then the priests, sons of Levi, will come forward and pronounce the blessing in the name of God. Every lawsuit in case of assault is subject to their ruling. And then the elders of the town nearest to the corpse will wash their hands over the heifer whose neck was broken in the wadi, and they'll make this declarations: our hands did not shed this blood, nor did our eyes see it done. So, wow, that's a lot longer than this. But I guess if you find a dead body and you don't know who killed them, you kill a cow, and then you say you didn't kill the cow, and you didn't see who. Wait, no, you say you don't. You did. We didn't kill this person, and we didn't see who did it. Why are you killing the cow though? What what good does killing the cow do to anybody involved in any of this at all? Why are you killing the cow? Answer me, Deuteronomy. Why is killing. Anyways, not to plow nor sow the rough valley in which a heifer's neck was broken. Well, how do you know if that happened? Like, whatever. Judge a thief, pay compensation, or suffer death. All right. Those inflicting bodily injury shall pay monetary compensation. Okay. Impose a penalty of 50 shekels upon the seducer of an unbetrothed virgin, and enforce the other rules in connection with the case. It's going to cost you 50 shekels because you had sex with somebody that you weren't promised to be married to, and they were a virgin. I don't know how we know that they're a virgin, but don't do that. Anyways, the violator of an unbetrothed virgin will marry her. Well, wait a minute. Okay, so if you have sex with somebody who is a virgin, but you weren't betrothed to them, now you have to marry them. Now, they say seducer here, but I'm almost fairly certain they're saying rape. Let's see. Let's see. If a man seduces a virgin for whom the bride price has not been paid and lies with her, he must make her his wife by paying the bride price. And then, if the father refuses to give her to him, he must still weigh out silver in accordance with the bride price for virgins. And then don't tolerate a sorceress, which is the next part of Exodus, but we're not there yet. One who's raped a damsel and has then, in accordance with the law, married her, may not divorce her. So, see, this is very important, very godlike here. If you rape somebody, you have to marry them. So, that's just how that goes. If you rape somebody, you marry them. God said so. If a man comes upon a virgin who is not engaged and seizes her and lies with her, and there discovered, the party who lay with her shall pay the girl's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. Because he has violated her, he can never have the right to divorce her. Now, you might wonder, can she divorce him? To which I say, no, not to inflict punishment on the Sabbath. Because some of them were inflicted by fire. Okay. So you can't do that on the Sabbath. Anyways, punish the wicked by the infliction of stripes. Okay. Whip them. Got it. Not to exceed the statutory number of stripes laid on the one who has incurred that punishment. All right. Great. So don't strike anybody. Wait, what? Okay, whatever. Not to spare the offender in imposing the prescribed penalties on one who's caused damage. All right. To do unto false witnesses as they have purported to do to the accused. So this is an interesting kind of law. So if somebody accuses you of something and you're found innocent, then whatever they accused you of, that is then inflicted upon them somehow. So here's how I imagine this working if we did this in today's day and age. Like somebody's like, hey, yeah, deconverted man freaking he stole $100 from me. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And then we go to court and they're like, he stole $100 from me. I'm like, no, I didn't. And it's like, oh, do you have any proof? And they're like, well, no, And I'm like, well, actually, I do have proof that I was home that day. And, here's that proof, blah. Here's a video I'm doing right now at the time and day that they said I was stealing from them. And the judge's like, he's innocent. You now owe him $100. I'm like, cough it up, buddy. I think that law, if it was made today, I think that could potentially reduce some frivolous lawsuits. However, I do wonder how it would go down if, like, they're like, yeah, this coach raped me, and they're like, no, that's impossible. The coach was not even in town that day. Now, do they now need to get raped? And if so, if we use these other laws, then that person that rapes them has to marry them and pay shekels to the father. And they can't divorce them. Or, like, do they get raped by, like, a machine or something? Like, because they have to get punished in the way that, like, how would that work exactly, is what I'm saying. But generally speaking, I do think that if we applied this rule somehow today, that it would reduce frivolous lawsuits, you know? People would be like, okay, do I really want to accuse them of embezzling $1 million? Because if I lose, I owe $1 million, right? Or if I'm like, hey, what if I accuse something, say, like something nebulous, like you messed with the election by using Russians to help you win. Like, how would you then turn that around on me? Would I have to have Russians used on me to help me to win an election? Like, in some cases, it really wouldn't work. Because, like, what if you accuse somebody of something that you know they didn't do in such a way that it would benefit you to be found guilty? Like, he did not steal $1 million from me. He's innocent of that. Therefore, I don't owe him $1 million because I'm accusing him of not owing me $1 million. Therefore, now he does owe me $1 million, right? Anyways, all right. Back to the Bible. Don't punish anyone who's committed an offense under duress. Okay. So I guess, like, if you're being raped and you kill and the person being raped kills the person that's raping them, that's fine. To heed the call of every prophet in each generation, provided they neither add to nor take away from the Torah. So prophets are just people that, like, just recite what the Torah already says, not allowed to add to or take away from it, which means Jesus not allowed to listen to Jesus because he was a prophet, basically. And he didn't, he added to the Torah and he took away from the Torah. So you're not supposed to listen to Jesus according to this law. Don't prophesy falsely, which I guess means, don't add or take away from the Torah. Don't say stuff that's not in the Torah. And then not to refrain from putting a false prophet to the death or fear him. So this actually is a law that allows them to kill Jesus. But Romans supposedly killed Jesus, which means, and they didn't have any laws about that. So that makes the Bible not make a lot of sense. But oh well. And here we go back to the fucking graven images. Don't make graven images. Don't make it oneself, nor have it made by others. Don't make figures for ornament, even if they're not worshipped. So no art. Kind of boring. Not to make idols, even for other people. Not to use ornament of any object of idolatrous worship. So again, no art. Got it. Not to make use of an idol or ancestry objects, offerings, or libations. Oh my God. Don't drink wine of idolaters. Not worship an idol in the way it's usually worshipped. Don't bow down to an idol, even if that's not its mode of worship. Not to prophesize in the name of an idol. Don't hearken to ones who prophesize in the name of an idol. Don't lead children of Israel astray to idolatry, but if they're not children of Israel, then let them worship the idol they want, I guess. Don't entice Israelites to idolatry, to destroy idolatry and its apparatuses, because fuck other religions. We need ours to preserve, destroy all other idols of religion. Yeah, smash those holy things to pieces. Fuck them. They're not your God. Destroy them. Don't love the enticer to idolatry. Don't give up hating the enticer to idolatry. Uh, don't save the enticer from capital punishment, but do stand at their execution. Yeah, fuck the person that does idol stuff. And then the person who attempted to entice idolatry shall not urge pleas for the acquittal of the enticer. Yeah. So if you do idolatry, you're fucked. A person who attempted to entice shall not refrain from giving evidence of the enticer's guilt if he has such evidence. Oh, okay. Not to swear by an idol to its worshippers, nor cause them to swear by it. Don't turn one's attention to idolatry. Just don't have anything to do with idols. Don't adopt the institution of idolaters or their customs. Don't pass the child through the fire to Molech, whatever. Not to suffer anyone's practice witchcraft to live. Fuck Wiccans. Kill them all. Not, but only if you're Jewish. Not to practice oneism, observing times or seasons favorable or unfavorable using astrology. They believed astrology was a thing. Don't do that. Not to practice niche, whatever, doing things based on signs and portraits using charms and incantations. Again, no witchcraft. Got it. Don't consult ghosts. Don't consult wizards. So don't play the Ouija board. Don't consult. I don't know who is a wizard. I don't. How do you know who the wizard is? So the Wizard of Oz, evil film, because they went to the wizard. Don't practice magic using herbs, stones, and objects that people use. I would assume you just don't practice magic at this point. Don't practice whatever the fuck magic again, basically. Don't practice the art of Clover Clavier casting spells over snakes and scorpions. Don't do magic. Just say don't do magic. Don't inquire above an orb, a ghost. Don't seek the dead. They're dead. They okay. Don't inquire anything from wizard. Leave those wizards alone, man. Just stay away from the damn wizards. Not to remove the entire bread like the idolaters. Not to round the corners of the head like the idolatrous priests do. Oh my goodness. Not to cut oneself or make incision in himself in grief like the idolater. Don't do what the idolaters do. But here's the problem I see with this. What if the idolaters start to take your symbols and signs and use them as worship idols? Then what do you do? Because you remember those signs you have to put out? Like, what if somebody says that that's their god now and starts worshiping that as an idol? Now what? I don't know. Anyways, don't tattoo the body. Don't make a bald spot for the dead. Whatever that has. I don't know. Don't plant a tree for worship. Don't set up a pillar for worship. Don't favor idolaters. Don't make a covenant with the 7 Canaanite idolatrous nations. Don't settle idolaters in our land. Again, we just hate the idolaters. Just keep them away from us. To slay the inhabitants of a city that became idolatrous and then burn the city. Wow. Just fuck the idolaters, man. If they have idolatry, burn their city down. Kill them all. Then don't rebuild a city that's been led astray to idolatry after you kill everybody and burn it down. Don't rebuild it. Which I just think is a waste of land, Anyways, not to make use of property of a city that's been so led astray. Right. So that land now goes to waste. Ah, okay, 358. I think that's a good spot right now because my head's hurting. So I'll be done on 358 for now. Look forward to part 3 when I keep reading more of this insane, crazy ass laws that are all commanded by God that we should have up in schools that all make sense even when they don't make sense. 358, and that's it for now. 358. So long. 358 is the number I'm going to be on. I end at 357 then. So I'll put that as the number, and then I'll remember, and then the number, and the don't do any of that stuff. Don't fuck them idler people, and don't do idols. Idol's bad. Idol. Talmud. Bye.